Communication breakdowns. Freud, Satir, and the art of listening. The dialogue of the deaf. Why can't we understand each other? Have you ever found yourself in an important conversation with someone you love, but felt like you were speaking different languages? Those discussions that repeat, where words seem to lose meaning and frustration grows. Communication is the most vital bridge in any relationship, but often it becomes the most complex battlefield. Why is it so hard to truly understand each other? Topic and Guides presentation today. This video will take a deep dive into the roots of communication breakdowns, guided by two brilliant minds. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, who revealed the secrets of the unconscious mind, and Virginia Satir, an innovative family therapist, who deciphered the dysfunctional patterns in our dialogues. Get ready to discover the whys behind your misunderstandings and learn the art of communication that truly connects. The unconscious games, Freud and defense mechanisms in communication. Sigmund Freud taught us that much of what we do and say is influenced by our unconscious, a part of the mind we don't directly access, but which holds memories, desires, and unresolved conflicts. 1. 2. To protect us from anxiety or the pain of difficult truths, our ego, the rational part of our personality, uses unconscious tricks called defense mechanisms. 3. 4. When these mechanisms come into play in communication, they distort reality, turning dialogue into a minefield. Let's look at the most common ones. Denial. It's the refusal to accept a painful reality, a fact, or a feeling. 3. 4. Example. A partner refuses to admit there's a serious financial problem, even with bills piling up, responding to concerns with, "It's nothing, everything's fine." Projection. Attributing one's own unacceptable feelings, desires, or flaws to another. 3. 4. 5. Example. An individual who feels insecure or jealous, but doesn't want to admit it, accuses their partner, "You're always the one being suspicious of me," or "You're jealous." Rationalization. Creating logical and acceptable excuses to justify behaviors or feelings that are in fact irrational or unconsciously motivated. 3. 4. Example. Someone who was late for an important appointment says, "I was late because traffic was impossible. Besides, you know I'm always bad with times. It's no big deal." Displacement. Redirecting emotions, like anger or frustration, from their original threatening source to a safer target, usually the partner. 3. 4. Example. A person has a stressful day at work and, upon arriving home, explodes at their partner for forgetting to buy something trivial. These mechanisms act as invisible barriers. They prevent the real issue from being addressed, transforming conversations into a tangle of misunderstandings and frustrations, where each person speaks from a reality the other cannot see. The dysfunctional patterns. Virginia Satir and communication styles. Virginia Satir, a pioneer in family therapy, observed that under stress or threat, people tend to adopt dysfunctional communication patterns as ways to protect themselves or cope with the situation. She identified 4 main styles. The Placater. Dr. 6. 7. Characteristics. Tries to please at all costs, apologizes excessively, agrees with everything, even if untrue. Their words are, "Yes, you're right. I'm so sorry for everything." Body language. Submissive, cowering posture, as if begging for forgiveness. Why? Seeks to avoid conflict, rejection, and seeks approval. Fears displeasing or being abandoned. The blamer. 6. 7. Characteristics. Finds fault in everything, criticizes, blames others for their problems. Their words are, "It's always your fault. You never do anything right." Body language. Points a finger. Rigid, aggressive posture. Why? Seeks to protect themselves and feel powerful, hiding their own vulnerability and low self-esteem. The super reasonable. Computer. 6. 7. Characteristics. Speaks in a cold, logical, distant, emotionless way. Avoids eye contact and demonstrates an expert posture. Their words are, "If you analyze the facts objectively, you'll see the solution is obvious." Body language. Rigid, inexpressive posture. Why? Tries to control the situation and avoid vulnerability through reason and intellectualization, escaping emotional contact. The irrelevant. Distractor. 6. 7. Characteristics. Changes the subject. Constantly. Makes inappropriate jokes. Gets easily distracted. acts as if there's no problem. Their words are, "It's so hot, isn't it? Speaking of which, have you seen my dog?" Body language, restless, fidgety, disorganized. Why? Seeks to divert attention from conflict and pain, unable to cope with emotional tension. These communication styles, though different, have one thing in common. They avoid direct, honest, and vulnerable communication. They are masks we wear to protect ourselves, but which prevent true connection. The invisible dance. How Freud and Satir meet. The beauty of combining Freud and Satir is seeing how Freud's unconscious defense mechanisms can fuel Satir's dysfunctional communication styles. It's an invisible dance. Freudian projection. You're jealous. Can manifest as Satir's blamer. You always blame me. The person projects their own guilt or insecurity onto the other and, to defend themselves, attacks. Freudian denial. There's no problem. Can transform into Satir's Placater. Yes, everything's fine, I'll do whatever you want. Or the irrelevant, who changes the subject to avoid reality. Freudian rationalization. I was late for logical reasons. Can be the basis of Satir's super-reasonable, who uses cold logic to avoid emotional responsibility. Freudian displacement. Anger from the boss vented on the partner. Can lead to any of the styles, depending on how the person manages that anger. Blaming the partner, placating them out of guilt, or escaping the emotion. Defense mechanisms are the unconscious why, and Satir's communication styles are the how they appear in interaction. Understanding this connection is crucial for breaking the cycle of repetitive arguments. The art of listening and connecting, the path to authentic communication. The goal isn't to eliminate conflict, it's natural, but to transform it. The key is to shift from reactive, defensive communication to conscious, authentic communication. Become a self-detective. Identify your mechanisms. When you feel tension, pause and ask, am I defending myself? How? Recognize your own denial, projection, rationalization, or displacement. Identify your Satir style. Observe, do you tend to placate, blame, be super reasonable, or be irrelevant under stress? Awareness is the first step to changing the pattern. Practice active listening. Listen to understand, not to reply. The goal isn't to win the argument, but to understand the other's perspective. Validate, even if you don't agree, show that you heard. I understand that you feel frustrated with X. Ask open-ended questions. Can you explain more about how you feel? What does this mean to you? Communicate your needs. Using I statements, focus on personal experience. Instead of accusing, you never listen to me. Use I feel unheard when we talk about this. This disarms the other and focuses on your experience. Be specific. Instead of, you're selfish, say, I need more support with X, and I feel lonely when I don't get it. Cultivate empathy. Try to see the world through the other's eyes. Remember that everyone has their own history and fears. The other's behavior, however irritating, often comes from an unmet need or a defense mechanism. Embrace ambivalence, Freud. Accept that all relationships have a mix of love and negative feelings. It's normal. What matters is how you deal with this ambivalence. The power of the pause. If the discussion heats up, ask for a pause. I need 5 minutes to calm down, and then we can talk again. Returning to the conversation when both are calmer is fundamental. The true power in a relationship isn't in avoiding conflict, but in facing it with awareness and tools. By disarming our unconscious shields and changing our communication patterns, we transform the battle into a dance of connection. Conclusion. The bridge to authentic connections communication breakdowns are the silent villains of many relationships. But by understanding the complex layers of the human mind, from Freud's defense mechanisms to Satir's communication styles, we gain the power to build bridges where there used to be walls. Authentic communication isn't just about what is said, but about the courage to expose oneself, to truly listen, and to understand the invisible forces that shape our dialogues. May this video inspire you to be more conscious in your interactions, building relationships based on clarity, empathy, and true connection. If this deep dive into communication breakdowns gave you a new perspective and helped you better understand your relationships, please hit the like button. It helps us bring this transformative message to more people. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next videos on psychology, philosophy, and the art of building deep human connections. And we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Which defense mechanism or communication style did you identify with most? How do you seek to communicate more authentically? Share your experiences and questions. Your participation is vital to our community.